One. Hello, everybody. So today we're gonna introduce the new Ireland, Great Britain 750 megawatt interconnector. It's a project which is extremely interesting for reasons we're gonna develop over this little video. But first, I think it's important that I introduce the management team who is in charge of developing this project. So we have the pleasure of having Simon Ludlam and Philip Jordan. And now I pass the mic to Simon. Simon, please.
Yes, good morning, Laurent. Thank you for having us on today. We're very excited about this new project. Philip and I have been working on this for a little while now. We've taken over the management of MaresConnect. Just taking a step back, my background is in private equity, and part of that role I developed ElectLink and the GreenLink project. So I'm familiar with interconnection, have been successful in developing private ones with private capital. There's a need for more interconnection as we move forward on the Green Deal, and clearly Ireland's ambitions to grow significantly its wind resource will mean that they'll need to have another interconnector towards the end of the decade. I previously worked with Philip, and so I think together we're a good team here to bring MaresConnect to fruition. Philip, maybe I'll let you introduce yourself.
Thank you, Simon, and thank you, Laurent, for the introductions. Yeah, look, I'll kick straight off. I've been working in the energy business in Ireland, the UK, and across Europe, working on many interconnector projects. I've been working for EirGrid, who were the Irish system operator, and on that particular role, I was the construction director for the East-West Interconnector, which was a 500 megawatt interconnector between Ireland and the UK, very, very similar to our proposal. So over a period of 7 or 8 years, I was involved for the entire project lifecycle, from the development phase right through to construction, commissioning, operation, and then ultimately handed over a very successful asset to the Irish state. I've also been recently involved in developing the Celtic Interconnector, another interconnector from Ireland to France. And it's worth mentioning at this stage that I've worked pretty much with all the key stakeholders across Ireland and the UK, and that includes regulators, government departments, local councils, private landowners, each with their own interests in these type of projects. I suppose effective stakeholder management is going to be key on this. I have a very solid understanding of all the challenges for this type of project. I suppose more importantly, I understand the means by which we can overcome those challenges to deliver a high performing asset. And as they say, you don't get the grey hair overnight. And so we have some good experience with this type of project, and I'm hugely excited for this project. It's a fantastic project.
Excellent. So in fact, this project looks like this. Okay, so I'm gonna put it a bit there. Normally you should see it on the screen. So Simon, can you elaborate a bit on what exactly it is? What are the main steps? What are we trying to achieve here?
Yes, of course. So the project is straightforward in many respects. It will parallel the existing EWIC interconnector. MaresConnect has been successful in securing a 750 megawatt grid connection at Baldwedwin substation, which is kind of in the Connah's Quay area of North Wales. So a strong point on the grid, and an important point for the grid in general for GB. It then traverses the Irish Sea, about 190 kilometers of subsea cables to make landfall in the Dublin area. And from Dublin, it'll skirt round Dublin and connect to the main Newth substation on the west side. We've targeted 750 megawatts. This is 50% more than Greenlink or EWIC, and I think as a result it gives significant economies of scale. So we're targeting approximately 550 million of capex. There will be a relatively normal development period through to 2024, where we'll have to secure obviously all the permitting, an EPC contract, and our regulatory status, with a view that there'll be a 3-year construction period, and we'd be into operations by January 2028, which I think is a good time for this project to come to market. As I said before, given Ireland's ambitions around wind, they're going to need that interconnection by that time. These projects have a good life. They're 40-year life projects, and the first 25 years would be under the cap and floor regulatory regime.
So, Philip, so this project from a technical perspective is really the backbone that will help develop 12 gigawatt of new wind in Ireland, because battery is not going to be sufficient, and especially if you consider the way Atlantic Depression move and going to overload the grid and then kind of disappear. It's really, from a technical point of view, and also taking into account the new development in HVDC technologies, this is really considered extremely important for the Irish grid. Are you sharing those visions?
Yeah, absolutely. Laurent, as Simon pointed out, this interconnector will have the capacity of 1.5 times the EWIC interconnector, which is necessary given the surge in demand in Ireland, particularly with the huge investment in data centers in Ireland, and they're very power hungry data centers. And it's forecast that by 2030, almost 1/3 of Ireland's energy consumption will be for data centers. So there's a huge demand to get sustainable power onto the island, but that's also flexible. And I think flexible is the key word here, because it can provide energy security for Ireland, the Mares interconnector, but also it can facilitate, as Simon rightly said, huge development in onshore and offshore wind, and also huge developments in the data centers. So and also 750 megawatts will actually provide power for almost 500,000 homes. So when you think about that, that's a substantial asset, which would play a key part in Ireland's energy infrastructure. Alluding to your point about the technology risk, EPC contractors currently in the market have made huge strides in bedding in this technology, making it far less risky, easier to construct, easier to maintain. And also, the reduction in the technology risk has to somewhat soften the prices, and also made the permitting and things like that more straightforward than it certainly was when all these interconnectors were being built over the past number of years. For instance, the EPC contractors now would be able to lay the cable from Ireland to the UK in one go. When EWIC was built, for example, it would have taken 3 or 4 campaigns. But the EPC contractors have invested hundreds of millions on getting state-of-the-art technology to make these projects ultimately less risky for the investor. Even the fibre optic cables now that go alongside these are in huge demand. So the current market provides for excellent performance guarantees. So these contractors, these EPC contractors who are delivering these key pieces of infrastructure, are providing assurances and guarantees for a number of years. Ultimately, the investors will have a peace of mind that these assets will operate and that they'll be, effectively taken care of in their, during their life cycle. So, again, fantastic project. The technology risk isn't as great as it was, and it's a very, very buildable project.
So, Simon, so the concept of a new interconnector between Ireland and UK is kind of established, but why is it your company that's really ahead of any competition or competing project?
We're ahead because we've spent a significant amount of time on this, but I think we've thought it through carefully. So we've already secured our role as a TYNDP project with NSOE. So we're well established, not only with the Irish and UK government, but also with Europe. And Europe has a key role here in building out the transmission infrastructure of Europe in an integrated and thoughtful way. So we're part of that project, number 349, if people want to go and have a look. That puts us in a position that we are on a trajectory to go and get PCI status, and project of common interest status is absolutely critical for the project to go ahead. So we're on that process already. We've applied recently for PCI status, and we're hopeful that we'll get it this time round. That then puts us in a position to secure a certain amount of funding, but more importantly, we get us privileged rights around permitting and licensing and permissions required to actually build the project. So I think we're good there. And I think the other key thing about it is that this management team has clearly demonstrated to both the Irish and the UK governments that we know how to get this done. We're a known force with the regulators, and therefore I think we have the capability to get this done quicker than most other teams who've never done one before. We're not aware of other projects out there. I think inevitably somebody will take a look. But I think we're thoughtful about when we'll come to market as well. So we're not doing this in a way we're rushing. We're doing it in a way that we're going to come to market when Ireland needs this project. And I think the timing of the project is absolutely critical here.
Okay, so Simon, Philippe, thank you so much for this first overview. And if you want to know more, you contact me and you'll sign an NDA and you'll get access to a lot of very detailed information, such as revenue models and financial structure and so on and so forth. And guys, you're doing a great job, and I'm very excited to work alongside you to promote and develop this great MaresConnect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laurent.
Thank you, Laurent.
Okay, bye.